Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing Hachzek's learning of the Pele Yoetz, day number 181. And we are still deep in the chapter of Dibor, of using our speech for the right things. And we began speaking about yesterday the idea of the Dibor that is usher, that is prohibited, we can't say. And he's talking about where in the mitzvah of Talmud Torah, of learning, that we can trample on these isurim, on these prohibitions. Hamavsik mimishnasav, if someone is in the midst of learning and they stop from their learning and they say, "Mano ilan zeh, woo, look how beautiful that tree is." Harizeh mischai benavshay, says the Mishnah, he is taking accountability for himself. Literally, he deserves the death sentence as a result. You stopped learning to see a tree. You're learning the secrets of the universe. You're Dovid in the Rabbi. You care about what a tree looks like right now. Or, how delicious is that coffee? That's good. That's good creamer over there. This is the sugar. That's stevia. Wow, I never tasted it so good before. You're in the middle of learning your daf yomi and let me just have a piece of cake over. Says the Pele Yoetz over here. A person shouldn't do those. Chazal is saying, such a person will be fed the fiery coals. Because of the Sefer Chasidim, in the Sefer Chasidim it says, frighteningly, made if someone is in the middle of learning, and in the midst of their learning, they stop and they turn to their chavrusa and they say, what do you think is going to happen in Iran today? Think Trump's really going to do it? Is that what's going to happen? Or he's busy and he's learning and he picks up his head and he looks out the window and whoa, it's Los Angeles, California. It's 85 degrees in the month of January, February. Whoa, there's women that are walking around the streets without dressing properly. And you begin to look, Rahman al-Islam, says the Sefer Chasidim, Nenosh gam ala limud, not only you get punished for the Devar B'Teilim, for the wasted words. Not only get punished for the Histaklus B'Nashim, for looking at women when you're not supposed to. Not only get punished for breaking your learning and being levatul, nullifying the learning that you were doing, even al halimud, even on the learning itself that you were doing, it obviously did not do anything to you. And even on that, you're going to get punished, Rachmana litzlan. Chaval of those that we are not careful with this. You inherit two Gehennims, one in this world for who knows what punishments are coming, and one in the world to come, because you wasted all of your time, you wasted all of your learning, you didn't even get the schus of that learning. Rachmana litzlan. Therefore, be very careful. Especially if you're such a tzaddik like I told you to be, says the Pele Yoetz. And before you sat down to learn, you said, I'm learning right now, should be for the sake of unifying HaKadosh Baruch Hu and His Shechina. And if you're not careful to do that, you start schmoozing during davening, you take a break during davening, you keep checking your phone during davening, you start eating during your learning, you're doing all these things that you're not supposed to be doing. You're looking and gawking all around. You're looking outside and you're seeing things that you shouldn't see while you're in the midst of learning. So what were your words? Your words were false. You said you're doing this for the sake of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to unify the Shechina, and you're busy not even paying attention. Says the Pele Yoetz, Hu nirgan mafrid aluf. He is like a complainer that is bothering the ruler, which means you're a major hypocrite. You say one thing and you do the other. You come to the ruler, please, can you help us? And then you don't behave with allegiance to the ruler. Says the Pele Yoetz, the same thing as bias. And if you do need to speak in the middle of learning and you need to speak, Yizkor HaSefer, then at least close the Sefer that you were learning from. So then it will look as if you finished your learning. And after that, then you go back and you start learning all over again from new. Maybe this will give some kind of relief to the punishments and it will clean you out from the mistakes that you made. So the Pele Yoetz is giving a suggestion over here that perhaps it will work, that if you decide that you and your chavrusa, you just got to schmooze right now in the middle of the deepest sugi and baba kama, you must schmooze about last night's chasana, or about the new steakhouse that opened up in town, or about the political situation that you, sitting over there in your base midrash, in your shul, in your home, you're going to solve all of the political problems of the world in 10 minutes that you and your chavrusa battle with each other. So if you need to do that, says the Pele Yoetz, at least, shut the sefer so that it looks like the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're not learning right now. Because if you're learning right now and you're breaking out of the pattern of learning for the sake of all of this Devar B'Telim, that is where the punishments come, Rachmana litzlan. Now he writes over here, Torah Nikres Sam Chaim. The Torah is called the Sam Chaim, the elixir of life. Eitz Chaim, it is a tree of life. L'mayminim, to those that are on the right. V'Sam Hamaves, it is a tree of death. It is a elixir of death, poison. L'masmilim, to those on the left. I'm sorry, it's a tree of life to those on the right. It is a poison to those on the left. Torah could be poison to people? What does that mean? The Torah is compared to a prince. He has the power in his hand to kill or to give life. So to the Torah, the Torah has the power to give life, or Rachmana litzlan, it can give death to a person. For example, if a person is learning for the sake of being able to antagonize others and to try to make his name great in this world, it is better that this person should not have been created and come into this world. Is that why you're learning? You're learning so that you can use your information and your knowledge to antagonize Talmidei Chachamim and other Jews and try to find faults and this and that. Is that why you're learning Torah? Are you learning Torah so people should know you with fame and fortune all throughout the world so that you'll be great in the eyes of other people? That's why Chaim Kanievsky was learning, so that everyone would say, ooh, the Gadol Ador. No, it happens to be that he learned Lishma all of his life and he became the greatest leader of Klal Yisrael, who was known for his advice, his Ruach HaKodesh, his Chachma, his wisdom, knowing Kol HaTorah, Kol in his fingertips, and that's why 1,800,000 people came to his Levaya. Because he was looking for it? Not at all. But is that why you're learning? People should think great things about you. Better not to have been created. Unfortunately, we find this sin by Talmidei Chachamim. They beat each other up over halacha or medarbim. Either they speak in these ways, or they write each other divrei kinturin, these words of antagonization. V'rabba kategoria v'sina bein Talmidei Chacham. There's so much antagonizing and so much hatred between Talmidei Chachamim. It's not supposed to be like that. And if amongst the great cedar trees of Klal Yisrael, the Talmidei Chachamim, the flames of machlekes, of arguments and contention have fallen amongst them, Mayasu is azayvekir. What of those like us, the lowly hyssop branches, of the that are on the walls? What are we going to do? How are we going to avoid such things? But the person who desires life, they should learn Torah Lishma for the sake of the Torah itself. They should be a God-fearing person, and they should be moided. They should be willing to admit when they hear the emes, the truth, even if it's not like the way that they learn the Torah. You should accept the emes, the truth that you hear from somebody else. Do not be someone who loves to be victorious. I got to win every battle. I have to always be right in the base midrash. Or someone who turns himself to arrogance, or he strays towards falsehood. He's always stretching the truth and trying to show that he's right, the other person is wrong. He says things that don't make any sense, all because he cannot admit that he is wrong and he just heard the emes in front of him. Don't say kablu daiti. Accept what I have to say as being true. Even if it looks like that you're saying the truth. Don't say that. Maybe you and your chavus are having a disagreement, you're having a dispute. Don't tell him, even if you feel that you are right. You got to accept what I have to say. Don't get involved in a machlekes, in an argument, just because you want to disprove what your friend is saying. Rak pamachas yagi daito. One time, tell him what you think. V'lo yishna like. You don't have to repeat yourself. Ukashiyedaber devorav, and when you speak words, even if your chavusi, your study partner, is crying, screaming against you, you should answer him gently, with love and chiba and endearment. And you should lower yourself, even someone that is smaller than you. You can humble yourself. Ketalmid hadan lifnei Rabbi, like a student who is judging in front of his Rebbe, which means even if this person is your peer, even if they're smaller than you, you should pretend that he's your Rav, he's your Rebbe, and you are small in front of him. Shari Amru Rabbi Seinazal Chazal teach us, it says in Iyov, Kantain Vegadol Shamu, the small one and the great one was right there. What does that mean? Kol hamaktin atzmai al divrei Torah. Anybody who humbles himself, he makes himself small on the words of Torah. Naseh gadol lo'olam haba, he will be made a great person in the world to come. Ubezeh she'itan l'makeu lechi yizba, and it's as if he's offering his cheek to be hit by his friend, and therefore says the Pele Yoetz, he is the one that will be satisfied. Makeu, but the one who slaps him, becherpa, he's the one that will be shamed either in this world or the world to come. Says the Pele Yoetz, this is maybe not what happens so much in the Bati Midrashim and the yeshivas. There's a lot of screaming, there's a lot of yelling, there's a lot of people holding on to their pshat as much as they can. Says the Pele Yoetz, you have to learn how to be humble when it comes to learning, because you have to be a seeker of the emes of the truth. And whether you're saying the truth or your chavus is saying the truth, it doesn't matter. It matters that you arrive at the emes and be willing to humble, be willing to listen, be willing to be makabel, to accept that somebody else has the truth more than you do. All the best.